Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park 24 with your Chicago Cubs, your Northsiders. And before we get into it, as always, please leave the video a like, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment, let me know how bad of a job you think I'm doing, how good of a job you think I'm doing. Let me know how you would do things differently. Yeah, things have been looking pretty good in terms of engagement with these videos. Looks like you guys are enjoying them. Yeah, that's it. Just keep enjoying them. Excuse me, I guess. As long as you keep enjoying them, I will keep making them. So we are in the middle of September, and it's a playoff race. We are not at the end of the season. We're not immediately going to the postseason because your Cubs are 79 and 64. We're 2 games behind the Reds, who have been absolutely fantastic over the last. They had a rough July, but between June, August, and September, it's 35, 42, and 24 in those 3 months. The Reds have been really, really good, and the Reds always sim well. So, you know, if you're a fan of the Cincinnati Reds, this is something to be optimistic about. But yeah, so we're 2 games behind the Reds. I posted on my Discord yesterday that I had my first audible stop losing yell at my team as we started September like 1-6. So we've gotten a little bit hotter here as the month has gone on, but we went 1-6 in our first 7 games in September, and that wasn't good. So a couple things happened in that month and a half or so that we were gone. Number one, Chris Paddock came back, and he's been really, really good for us. 1.13 ERA plus, a really low BABIP, so I expect a regression sort of to the mean, so to speak. But those are really good ratings. I haven't offered him an extension. I've thought about it. I'm not going to give him 5 years, but if we can get 3 years at about 9 or 10 per, like, that doesn't feel unreasonable to me. And then we've got Gallen, Brash, and Paddock as 3 of our top 5. And then that's not a terrible rotation. So it's something I am thinking about. Speaking of Zach Gallen, he's had a terrific year for us. 12-5 with a 3.83 on the season. He's on pace to pitch close to 200 innings. We did sign Mr. Gallen to a contract extension. We signed him to a 4-year, $76 million contract. He's going to make $17 million next year, $21 million in his age 31 season. And then there's an opt-out along with 2 $19 million seasons after that. I don't mind the 4-year contract. I don't know if he's going to continue to pitch well, but this is a pattern. This is 4 straight significantly above average seasons for Zach Gallen. So hopefully he can stay a Cub this entire time, and we won't have to look at moving the contract in a year, which seems to inevitably be what happens when I sign long-term contracts. We also lost Eduardo Nunez for the season to a partially torn labrum. So it was an active 6 weeks or so. So what we're going to do is we're going to sim through the end of the regular season, presumably into the playoffs. We have a 5.5 game lead over the Brewers right now. And then it might be it might just be a postseason episode if we make a run, or we'll get right into the offseason. So let's get to Simmons. So we're taking on Miami here, who is 70 and 73. We could knock them out of any sort of contention with a sweep here, but we lose 6-5. Justin Steele is ready to come back, but he hasn't been particularly good. So what do I do? I guess I can send down one of these batters that I called up who aren't going to play much. I don't want to send down Garcia's putting up almost a 400 on base percentage. Send down Abreu, I guess. No, I need the lefty bat, or do I? We'll send Morel down. Call up Justin Steele, get him up there for the end of the season. All right, so we lost our first game. We're 2.5 games behind the Reds now. Still 4.5 up now on Milwaukee, so the Brewers have gained a game. Noah Syndergaard facing us here today. So we look for win number 80. We don't get it. That's 3 losses in a row now. And if I was simming this offline, I'd be yelling at the computer screen at this point. There's 4 losses in a row. Are we about to get swept by Miami here? The game got rained out. Okay. So we're 4.5 clear of Milwaukee, 6 up on the Marlins with, what, about 16 games left? 3-game series against the Yankees. We still got the Reds in our sights. Just got to start winning some ball games here. There's a 7-3 victory. So the Reds won, so we do keep pace with them. Acuna has 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Velasquez drives in 2. Bouchard has 2 hits. Swanson has 2 hits. Brown picks up the win, picks up his 7th. Still just a 4.5 game lead as the Brewers and the Marlins won as well. Carlos Rodon going against us today. Another loss. This is just this just hasn't been a good September. Another loss. Now you take a look at our September here, guys. So it was 1-6 to start the month. Then we won 4 straight. And now we've lost 6 out of 7. We got Milwaukee coming up. I mean, this is going, I think, in part going to determine whether we make the postseason. We take 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. I think we're in good shape. If we lose 2 out of 3, or all 3, Milwaukee is right back in it. We'll see what happens here in game 1. Yeah, 80-70. We're playing some really, really bad baseball here in September. Are we going to back into the postseason? I mean, it's possible that we miss the postseason at this point. If Milwaukee, there's another loss, 8-0 and 12-0 in 2 games in Milwaukee. All right, so we win the final game of the series. Puts us, I think, 3.5 back up on Milwaukee, 81-71. 3 for 5 with 7 RBIs for Drew Romo. He hits his first 2 home runs of the season, a 2-run homer, and a grand slam. So he drives in 7. Brown gets the win. And now the problem is we got the Reds, right? So we have a 3.5 game lead over the Brewers, but we've got the Reds. We've got 1 game with Miami, which was a rainout. And then I think we finish up with the Mets and the Braves. That's not an easy schedule here down the stretch. We are going to earn this postseason appearance if we get it. Game 1 in Cincinnati is a loss. Game 2 is a win. All right, so Nico Horner is ready to come back, so we're going to have to call him up as well. Anthony Rizzo with a pair of solo home runs. Giving Wisniewski the win, who's gotten better, by the way. His ratings have gotten better, so he continues to develop for those of you Hayden Wisniewski fans out there. We send Garcia down. Call Horner up, which I don't really want to do, but that's okay. Back him up at second. Back him up at short. Lefties, back him up at second, back him up at short. All right, so we win a game. That's important. Lead is back to 4.5 over Milwaukee. We look to take 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati. Oh, never mind. Play that game today. Take 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati. See if we can get within 4 of the Reds. Yep. So we take 2 out of 3 against the Reds. A couple of good pitching performances by the Cubs. Acuna hits his 29th home run. Abreu hits his 5th. Acuna's had a really solid year for us. 3.3 WAR, on pace for 30 home runs. Brash picks up his 11th victory of the season. Coleman gets his 30th save. So we got that 1 game now against Miami. So if we win this should knock Miami out of the postseason if we can win this game here. do. And that does knock Miami out of contention. So we have a 5-game lead over the Brewers with 6 remaining. So I think we are in pretty good shape. Paddock continues. No, I guess he doesn't continue to pitch well, but he pitches well here. 5 innings of 2-run ball. We get a home run from PCA, his 11th. 2 RBIs for Abreu, who's played pretty well. He's a pretty good option against righties. As long as you limit, I think. He only has 623 at-bats against lefties, but an 886 OPS against righties, and I'll take it. So we got New York and Atlanta here in the final. So we got the wild card leader and then the leader in the National League East in our final 6 games. So if we lose all 6 and Milwaukee wins all 6, we're out of the postseason. Oh, I think we're kicking over to October now, so we should get a player development report. Losing Nunez hurt. That stretched our bullpen thin a little bit. So we lose 11-3. Not a great start to the month of October. Steele gets better, so that's good to see. Maybe he'll recover from that injury. We can use him as a reliever or or use him as that backup starter. Abreu gets better. Morel gets worse. Cade Horton, he gets a little better again. I mean, it's not bad. Not bad. All right, so we are 4 games up. Pennant chase in the National League. It's our magic number here for the wild card. Magic number is 2. So we got to win 2 of our final 5 games or have the Brewers or some combination of 2 wins and losses for us and the Brewers. So there's the win, and combined with a Milwaukee loss, and we make the postseason in our 3rd year with the Cubs. We are going to the postseason. It will be as a wild card, but we make the postseason. I consider that a success. So with the victory, hopefully we can stay healthy here over the final 4 games. We still got a chance at the Reds if they stumble. We're only 2.5 back. We lose there. All right, so the Reds' magic number for the Central Division is 1. So we have to sweep Atlanta, and they have to lose all 3 of their games. And that doesn't happen. We win and they win. So we are going to finish 2nd in the National League Central, but I will take it. We get 3 hits and an RBI from Bichette. Brash pitches well, but Wisniewski picks up the win. Paddock going today against Spencer Strider. There's a 7-3 loss, and then Ben Brown will pitch the final game of the season. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. We'll take a look at the stats, and we will jump into postseason play in year number 3. $86-76 the Cubbies go here in our 3rd season. I will certainly take that. Yeah, I will take a 86-76 season. We went from 67-95 to 72-90 to 86-76. I'll take that for sure. Let's take a quick look at our team stats here. Offensively, Dansby Swanson, I mean, he's showing he has been worth that contract. 3 years with the Cubs. His worst year was our first year. We put up 3.4 WAR, but he was at 4.2 last year, 4.7 this year. He seems to be getting better with age. Casey Schmidt was fantastic in his 2nd season. Average up, OPS up, on base percentage up. He was good for 4 WAR, and he was fantastic in the field for us. Pete Crow Armstrong, the bat kind of slipped in the second half of the season, but still worth 3.5 WAR because he's so good defensively that it makes up for it. Acuna put up almost 3.5 WAR, 29 home runs, 24 stolen bases. I'll take that. 800 OPS for Acuna. Nelson Velasquez, second on the team in home runs, put up an 802 OPS, 118 OPS plus, good for 3 WAR. He was a 3-WAR player. He was above average in left field. And yeah, he was really, really good for what we needed him for. Brought Bo Bichette on. Defensively, he was bad, but it got better as the season wore on. Offensively, though, he was fine. 283, 19, 419. It was average. He's kind of slipped a little bit as the season rolled on as well. He'll be a rental for us. Drew Romo, 277, 329, 335. I will take an 84 OPS plus with that glove 100% of the time. The ERA was 4.3, but that's okay. Riz, in his return to Wrigley Field, 22 home runs, drove in a almost team-high 76. Talked about Abreu not too long ago. Nico Horner's time with the Cubs is come and gone. Bouchard was okay as a lefty bat, and people like him, so he'll probably hang around next season. Hunt will stick around as our backup catcher. Gordon was fine, but eminently replaceable. And then Seiya Suzuki was the worst bat we had in our lineup. We got to find a way to move on from this contract next season, even if we retain, 80% of it. Anything we can get out of Suzuki will be a positive. Pitching wise, not a bad season. Not a lot of huge WAR numbers. Brash was really good though. 11-7, 159 innings, struck out 200 batters, a 2.65 ERA, good for almost 4 WAR. Spencer Arrighetti had a great season in that middle relief, use more often role, pitched 81 innings, 2.37 FIP, 2.3 WAR. A lot of positive WAR on our pitching staff. Paddock was just okay with us, but still 55 innings, pitched essentially league average out of the 5 slot, which I'm fine with. Young Jun So continues to get a little better. It's slow growth, but now he's 24, kind of is what he is at this point. A ground ball pitcher who doesn't throw particularly hard, but there's value in that, especially at $1 million a year. Carson Coleman as our closer saved 31 games, struck out 95 and 169 innings. Zach Gallen, that FIP is really high. You feel like maybe with some better defense behind him, he puts up much better numbers, but I am fine with 189 innings pitched and a 3.5 ERA. Ben Brown was okay. He's replaceable. He pitched really well at the beginning of the season, struggled down the stretch. Abreu was good. Mason Miller was okay once we moved him. He was okay for his half season with us before we sent him down. Wisniewski pitched in 72 games. Clark Schmidt was pretty good. Tyone was bad and Uceta was bad. So again, Tyone's another one where we may just end up cutting both of them next season if we can't trade them and 80 or 85% of their contract. So we make the postseason. Let's take a look at really quickly. Let's look at our top 2 picks from this year. Von Necker, 221, 361, 353 in a rookie ball. He's still a ways away, so he'll be in rookie ball next season. The ratings haven't dipped, which is nice. He's still a high contact, high home run, high eye guy, so hopefully those numbers maintain. And then Boston Kellner was really, really good, both with the bat and on the mound in rookie ball. So he probably starts next season in A-ball, but he put up a 908 OPS, and he put up a 233 ERA plus in rookie ball this year. He is, if the ratings last, he becomes a number 2 starter and a middle of the order bat. So we will see. And then Alan Chu, for those knuckleball fans out there, 287, 401, 493. He can hit the ball fine in rookie ball, but he's still struggling on the mound. He walked 10 in 7 innings. That knuckleball sitting at a 30-35, but we'll continue to let him develop as a knuckleballer. Maybe it just takes him longer to develop. And it is playoff time. Playoff baseball for the Cubs. I was about to say in Wrigley, but we aren't going to play a home game in this postseason, as we're going to be taking on the Reds in Cincinnati. Riley Green wins the AL batting crown. Corbin Carroll in the NL. Let's look at our playoff roster. And I believe... No, we're going to leave Horner because of his defense, but I kind of want Garcia out there, but we'll wait and see. Jonathan Edwards. That's rough control, but that's stuff in that movement. I'll try. We signed him in the offseason. We'll bring him back next year, use him as part of the pen. Why is So not on the major league roster here for the postseason? What are we doing? What are we doing? Justin Steele, I believe, is not going to be on the postseason roster. We want So out there. So a 3-man pitching staff here as we go to the postseason. I think that'll be Gallen, Brash, and Paddock. These guys in here as long relief. And we bring everybody in an inning or so later, I think is the plan, right? Got him coming in high leverage. We'll do Arrighetti in high leverage. Abreu in high leverage. Cool. All right, guys. It is playoff baseball time. Let's save this so that the game doesn't crash on us. Let's get to the postseason. Let's look at the Reds. So we were 11-2 against Cincinnati this season. That's insane. Cincinnati was 90-72 on the season, and we beat them 11 out of 13 times. Really good bullpen, really good defense, and then like us, middle of the pack offense. They were third in runs against, a lot of power. They were first in the National League in home runs. They've got a center fielder who hasn't played at all leading off. Is that because Pages is hurt? Yeah, okay. So they don't have their leadoff hitter up, but they've got Ellie De La Cruz, who hit 30 and drove in 100. Encarnacion Strand hit 30 home runs, almost 100 knocked in. Rowdy Tellez hit 30 home runs. So let's so we played on opening day, right? Yeah, we played the Reds on opening day. So it's Zach Gallen against Nick Lodolo here in the postseason. Game number 1 in Cincinnati. Goes to the Cubs, a 5-2 victory. Zach Gallen goes 5 2/3. Arrighetti pitches 2 1/3 shutout. Coleman comes in, gets the save. We get Acuna with a monster game, 2 for 5, 4 RBIs. Schmidt has a couple hits. Armstrong has a couple of hits. I will take the 5-2 win. So we got to win one of the next 2 games in Cincinnati to advance to the National League Division Series. Tyler Duffy is retiring. Congratulations to him. And let's see how game 2 goes. Matt Brash against Jacob Junis. And we lose 12-3. Not a good outing for Brash. We got out to a 3-0 lead in the first. Velasquez with a 3-run homer. But Brash got lit up. Everybody got lit up. Nobody pitched well. All right, so it's going to come down to game 3 here. It's going to be Chris Paddock against Casey Legumina, who's 8-5 with a 4.33. We'll send our trade deadline acquisition, Chris Paddock, out there to face Cincinnati in game 3. The final game of this series. Do we advance to the division series or do we advance to the offseason? We win the series 2-1. Paddock does his thing and we emerge victorious. Paddock 5 innings, a 1-run ball. Wisniewski, Abreu, each with holds. Coleman gets the save. Dansby Swanson with a home run, has 3 hits. And Ronald Acuna Jr. is named the wild card MVP, going 4 for 13 with 4 runs knocked in. Let's go. Who are we taking on in the division series? We don't know yet. Playoff tree. We don't know yet. We're taking on the Dodgers. Yeah, we're going to be taking on the Dodgers here in the next round. Whatever happens at this point, this season is a success. That's the way I look at this. We won a postseason round. The Dodgers, 96-66, 5th in offense, 5th in runs against, middle of the pack defensively, but a 96-win team. Junior Garcia 24-year-old stud, hit 40 home runs for them this year. Vargas, 318. Will Smith hit 25 home runs. But they've got no Mookie Betts. They've got no Julio Urias. So they're without their top starter and really one of their top bats, although Mookie didn't have a great year this year. They went out and they signed Brendan Rodgers in the offseason to play second base. Freddie Freeman only had 11 home runs this year. We got a shot. We got a shot at this. I truly feel like we have a shot at this. We need to go back to a four-man rotation, though. And we will bring in So. I think let's just remove the pitch counts at this point. If they're pitching well, then there's no reason to change things up. Zach Gallen against Walker Buehler in Game 1 in Los Angeles. Goes to the Dodgers. They beat us 4-1. The offense not strong here. Why did Jameson Taillon pitch in this game? Not that it matters. We only scored 1 run against the Dodgers. So we're down 1-0. We were 2-4 against the Dodgers this season. Is Gallen going to pitch today? He is. Okay. Four-man rotation. Strict order. All right. We need this one. We need Zach Gallen to win Game 2 in LA against Dustin May, and he does. We win 3-2. Well, he doesn't pick up the win, but he pitched well for us. We only went 4 1/3. Quick hook there. Then we went to Uceta. Abreu blew the save. Wisniewski with the win. Coleman with the save. Rizzo with a home run in this one. Acuna goes 2 for 3, and we take home field advantage away from the Dodgers with a 3-2 win. Got Matt Brash going in Game 3. I mean, it ends up getting set up nicely for us, right? Because we don't put our ace against their ace, so we're not pitching our ace against their number 2. We're not pitching our number 2 against their number 3 at home. Hell. All right. Well, so much for Zach Gallen. All right, Game 3 in Chicago. Bobby Miller and Matt Brash. The Cubs take a 2-1 series lead as we win 3-0. Rizzo drives in a run. Suzuki drives in a run. Romo drives in a run. Brash goes 4 2/3 shutout. Schmidt, Abreu, Coleman pitch 4 1/3 shutout ball. We are up 2-1. We need to win one of these next 2 games. That Game 5 is going to be a nightmare. With Hyung-Jun So against Walker Buehler. So let's just lock it down here. Tony Gonsolin against Chris Paddock, and the Cubs advance to the National League Championship Series with a 4-3 walk-off winner in the bottom of the 9th. What happened in the 9th? It doesn't say. We'll look at the box score here. But Drew Romo with a double, has 2 RBIs, was named the MVP. Paddock goes 4 1/3, but our bullpen continues to be lights out. Let's look at the game log. Go to the bottom of the 9th. So we got a single by Nelson Velazquez. Wild pitch sends Velazquez to second. Ground out by Bo Bichette. A sac fly scoring Bo Bichette from third base gives us the 4-3 victory. It's time tomorrow for the International Showcase, but we got to figure out what we're going to do to replace Zach Gallen in our rotation. International Amateurs, but we got to look at our pitching staff first. Who do we call up? We've lost our best starter and our best reliever. Do we go with the arm of Jonathan Edwards? That might be fun. We sent Griffin down to the minors and he wasn't great. I think we go with the high power arm of Jonathan Edwards. I guess we go Ben Brown. I mean, it's certainly not ideal, but we get a couple of days rest here, so we might at least be able to set up our rotation. and have Brash going in game 1, Paddock in game 2, So in game 3. Oh, I forgot to look at international amateurs. Let's do that. All right, so what do we got? Pitchers, we got Ramiro Catano. Got the high work ethic. He only wants 1.5. I like that. Braden Fuchs. He's got a lot of pitches, and he wants $3 million, so we'll invite him, but I'm not 100% sure that he's somebody we're going to go after. Balderas, he wants 2, but we'll invite him as well. Edo, we'll invite him. Low work ethic, I don't like that. Ramirez looks okay, we'll invite him. Let's look at batters. There's almost always more hitters than there are pitchers in these things, but that's fine. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and invite all of the 80s. Medina, he looks all right. High work ethic, Juan Vences. We'll invite him. Montejano? Nope. Castillo? Nope. Nope. I don't think I'm going to invite anybody else. I will invite Siqueiros. Siqueiros, I guess. All right, let's go back and run practice. Yeah, so I like that we've got some people that we're already strong on. Castaneda might be fun. Might be a fun pickup at third base. Wilson Olmos. He's not a center fielder, but he's got that bat. I mean, if I could get Catano and Castaneda. Castaneda wants 1.7. He wants 1.5. We have how much? We'll have to bump that. We'll have to bump that. So we'll have 5.4 when we get to that point. Might be enough. Might be enough. Might not be. We'll see. All right, we got the Atlanta Braves coming up here. They went 99 and 63. Third best offense, best pitching staff. This is going to be a challenge. Look at that rotation. Spencer Strider, Aaron Nola, Max Fried, Pablo Lopez. That is a tremendous pitching staff. We thought about Lopez. But not at 6 years. So offensively, they're good. Austin Riley, 30 home runs. Matt Olson, 30 home runs. Every single player in their lineup hit at least 10. Michael Harris is just, he's unreal, man. 7 WAR, 5 WAR, 5 WAR. When's his contract up? Look at that contract. He's not going to be a free agent anytime soon. All right, here we go. Pitching staff. We need to set this staff the way we want. Brash, Paddock, So, and Ben Brown. Not a great pitching staff without Zach Gallen. Let's see what happens in game 1. Goes to the Braves 4-2. I think this is going to be a quick series. Rizzo 2 hits. Brash gives up 4 and 5. Aaron Nola here in game 2 going against Chris Paddock. We tie the series. Okay. I see you, Cubs. I see you. A 5-run 8th inning by the Cubs. That's a grand slam from Nelson Velazquez in the 8th inning. And then our bullpen does what our bullpen does. Schmidt gets the win, Coleman the save, and we take home field advantage away from the 99-win Atlanta Braves. We go home. We're going to have Hyung-Jun So, the 23-year-old, on the mound against Max Fried in Chicago. We drop that one 4-2. So gave up 4 and 6 1/3. Offense not getting it done. Pablo Lopez against Ben Brown here in game 4. Very important game 4 as we try to tie the series up. We don't want to go down 3-1 going into game 5. We tie the series at 2. We win 2-1. Our offense has not been good, but we walk this off. Acuna with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th to tie the series up at 2. Brown 4 1/3. Our bullpen pitched 4 2/3. Hitless baseball, striking out 10. We got Spencer Strider today, however, so that's not going to be easy. Matt Brash against Spencer Strider in Game 5. Goes to the Cubs. We are 1 win away from the World Series. A 14-inning thriller. Nelson Velasquez with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 4th. We scored 4 in the 9th to tie this one. Wow. Brash only goes 2 2/3. Our bullpen actually gave up some runs. I want to see what happened in the bottom of that 9th inning. So we were down by 4 going into the bottom of the 9th. Bichette leads off with a double. Dansby Swanson singled, and Bo Bichette was called out after being hit by the ball. So we started off with a double. We could have won it. We could have won it in the 9th if that hadn't happened. So double, single, 1 out. There's a walk. So all this happened with 2 outs, apparently. Acuna then. Single, a double by Crow Armstrong, scoring a pair. Casey Schmidt single, drives in a couple, intentional walk, and then Velasquez grounded out. So, all right. All right. So it's series. We're up 3-2. We just got to win 1 out of 2 in Atlanta to go to the World Series. We got Chris Paddock against Aaron Nola here in Game 6. Fingers crossed. Do we make the World Series? We don't. The series is now tied at 3. We lose 5-1. Our offense only musters 4 hits. It's going to be Game 7, and Game 7 is going to be Max Fried against Young Jun So. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross whatever you have, and let's see if the Cubs can win in Game 7 in Atlanta for a trip to go to the 2025 World Series. And we lose 3-2 in 10 innings. Brutal. Ozzie Albies with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 10th off Carson Coleman. That was the first run Coleman gave up in the postseason, was a walk-off home run in the 10th, and we lose in 7. We lose in 7. Made the National League Championship Series. We lose in 7 games. So let's sim to the we'll do the offseason. This will be a long episode. It's already 40 minutes, but this will be a long episode. We'll do the offseason here as well. Treat you guys to a longer video on what I believe is going to be Monday. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this, but it should be Monday. So you get a bit of a longer video to kind of help your week out here. So it's November 1st. Let's do our. I don't even want to say it's disappointing because it's not. This was a successful season for us. This was a successful season for the Cubs. I firmly believe that. So yeah, Catano already has very high league interest, as does Castaneda, which is not a surprise. So yeah, not a disappointment. The Braves take a 1-0 lead over the Yankees. Series is tied at 1 now. Now we're rooting for the Braves, right? You want to lose to the eventual champions. All tied at 2. Yankees take a 3-2 series lead. Braves tie it up. Game 7, it goes to the Yankees. The New York Yankees win the 2025 World Series. Your Cubs took the Braves to 7. I think if we have Gallen and Nunez, I think we win. I think losing your best starter and your best reliever is obviously an issue. So, all right. So new budget. What do we have? $170 million. So we got a little bit. How is our loyalty only a 70? We literally just made the World Series. Come on, guys. We'll bump our ticket prices to $32 million. So now, we got Suzuki and Tyon each for a year. So let's just See what options are out there. If we can cut any of that. I wonder if part of this is because he's still showing as having 2 years left on his deal, when in reality he only has the one. We may wait until the offseason on both of them. Yeah. All right, let's go to arbitration. So Horner and Rizzo, we can both offer qualifying offers to. We're not going to do that with either of them. Bichette, yeah, that's a 10-year contract, so he can walk. And then Paddock, 5 years. I mean, we could re-sign him, but I think I'm more comfortable letting him go to free agency and seeing what happens there. So this is the first big contract extension for Matt Brash. Holy hell. Okay. No, we're going to go 1 year. He wants $5 million. So by the time he's done with his ARB numbers, he's going to be in his 30s. And I'm not comfortable paying that type of long-term money. Abreu wants 2.6. We'll give him 2.5. And again, I say this every single time, but I always offer contracts to my arbitration players rather than letting it go to arbitration. Not because I'm concerned that it's going to affect my relationship with the player, but because if they're popular, you get a fan interest bump. And this is an easy time to get fan interest bumps, is to sign these players to contracts if they're popular. Nick Gordon, we'll go ahead and remove that. Velasquez wants 3.9. We should be able to offer him 3.8. Should be 3.8. Yep, 3.8. Okay. Christopher Morel. I think it's time to move on. From Christopher Morel. See if anybody's interested in him. All right, there's some interest. Alejandro Kirk. Not at $12 million, though. Yeah, I don't want any of these. I'm glad I ended up not picking up Chisholm. That would have been poor. Chrismat. No. All right. I mean, I am fine. He's not particularly good at, I mean, he's okay literally at everything. He's like the definition of average. And for 2.2, I'm just not interested in that. Uceta. I mean, he wasn't great last year, but he's cheap and his ratings are okay. He's not interested in discussing. All right. Which minor leaguers do we want to bring back? Canario, 100%. Marquez. Let's see if he's interested in coming back. I mean, Amaya just turned into nothing, unfortunately, so we'll just let him walk. I do have... Yeah. I can't be bothered to sign my my minor league personnel. We'll let the AI do that. All right, let's zoom ahead. Let's get a couple of minor fan interest bumps. I know we'll get one for Abreu. Bo Naylor and Sean Bouchard for Oliver Roku and Yoendris Gonzalez. So how is the 25-year-old Bo Naylor? Not great. Not great. Bouchard's not bad. We have him over on our Cubs playthrough and no, wait. Oh, they want us to sit. No. I'm all confused. I thought I was on the White Sox playthrough because I saw, I don't know why, but no, we're not, no, go away. This is what happens when you play two Chicago series at once. You get them confused easily. All right, so Wisniewski, Velasquez. The fans like Velasquez. We get a slight fan interest bump for that. Takes us to 78. And then my assumption is that we'll have another off season where we are able to get our owner to give us another budget bump come the preseason. Because I do want to continue to dump more into scouting and development, so I want to see what's available in free agency, and then we'll make our decision at that point what we're gonna do with our money, where that money's going to go. So Gold Gloves in the National League, Fried, Murphy, Olsen, 3 Braves. Then you got Tovar, Arenado, Lindor, Bryant. PCA wins it in center. Sal Frelick out and right. In the American League, McKenzie, Vasquez, Dom Smith, Fletcher, Arias, Correa, Kwan, Meadows, and Luke Raley. Reliever of the year. Are we going to have a reliever of the year? Nope. It goes to Andres Munoz in the American League, and then Alex Vesia in the National League. Yeah, Eduardo Nunez finishes second. Arrighetti finishes fourth. We had a couple of chances to pick up Max Meyer and never did. So that's looking rough now. Platinum Stick. I don't think we're going to have a Platinum Stick award winner, but we'll look. Cuero, Colson Montgomery, Andres Jimenez, Wander Franco, Marcelo Meyer, Spencer Jones, Trout, Green, and Keston Hiura hit 40 home runs for the Astros. In the National League, Francisco Alvarez, Goldie, Garcia, Manuel Vargas, Lawler, Bryant, Corbin Carroll, Sal Frelick, and Warming Bernabel was your designated hitter Platinum Stick with 9 home runs and a 1.8 WAR. Okay. All right. Colson Montgomery is your Rookie of the Year in the American League, and Jackson Chourio in the National League for the Dodgers. Managers of the Year. Am I going to get Manager of the Year? I'm not. Brett Boone and Brian Snitker. Or Aaron. Yeah, Aaron Boone, not Brett Boone. Cy Young. Carlos Rodon in the American League, and in the National League, Nick Lodolo wins the Cy Young with a 15-8, 2.76. We had Matt Brash finish 5th. That, but Lodolo wins it in a shutout, getting all 30 votes. And your MVPs in the AL, Riley Green, followed by Shohei Ohtani. Wow, 35, 115. That's a 999 OPS for Riley Green. And then Corbin Carroll wins the National League MVP with a 352 batting average. Didn't have anybody in. Look at Dansby Swanson all the way down here at like number 20 or something. All right. Let's get to next month. Next month is where everything goes down, right? We got more international scouting. We got free agency. We got the Rule 5. We got international amateur, international free agency. Hopeful that there's somebody there that we can take a run at. Phillies and White. So Keston Hiura hits 40 home runs and is traded to Houston for Alex Kirilloff and John Klein. All right. You do what you do. It's December 1st. Scouting, international, run practice. Yeah, so we should be at least very high with most of these guys. Juan Vences might be a cheap bat. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right. So we've got Uceta, I believe, who was going to arbitration. Yeah, ruled in our favor because Uceta wasn't good. All right, tomorrow is the big day. I haven't even looked at who's available in free agency, so I don't even know. Let's start here, though. $35 million. Okay, we got 25, 28 in extension, so we can dump more, but I want to see what's available first. So see what we have for internationals. He's already signed with the Reds, so again, that's still broken. A lot of pitchers. None of them are particularly good. Yeah, nobody there. All right, what do we got in free agency? Dylan Cease, Kyle Tucker, Aaron Nola, Walker Buehler. I mean, there's some talent here. There's certainly some talent here. What do we need? What do we need? I mean, we need, let's, first of all, let's do this. All right. So we put Zach Gallen. We need pitching, right? We need a starting pitcher, at least one. Brown's not terrible, but we need at least one starting pitcher to put in our rotation. Our bullpen's fine. We don't need to do anything in our bullpen. Offensively, we are set at catcher. We're set at third. We're set at short, and we're set in the outfield. So second base, God, we need to try to move Suzuki. Yeah, because we've got Velasquez, Crow Armstrong, and Acuna in the outfield. What positions are missing? Second, first, and DH. So we need some bats. Is there anybody in AAA that we're going to call up next season? I mean, Brennan and Garcia. I mean, Garcia probably is that backup infielder, right? Yeah, so Garcia will come up, that backup infielder. Beyond that, no, we don't really have anybody that's ready to come up. We may have to make a move here in order to make that happen. So at least one starting pitcher, and then we need some offense. So let's see what's out there for free agency. And the one thing I want to check, make sure that I have this set correctly, and I believe I do, is I changed inflation. Yeah, I dropped inflation. Because what I was seeing in my offline save is that once you get about 10 or 11 years into it, you have players asking for $60 and $70 million a year, and that's just not realistic. So I changed inflation from 1 to 4% to 1 to 2%. Hopefully that keeps the salary demands down. All right. Let's look at default first and just kind of see what we're looking at from a financial. Okay, not a lot there. I mean, Bregman for 875 is an absolute 100% no doubter. Yes. Let's do 3 years. Will we do 3 years at that amount? He will. Okay, yeah, 100%. I'm good with that. Because that fills that. I mean, we can stick him at first. That fills the DH role. He wasn't good. It wasn't great last year, but those ratings suggest, because I don't think he's had a significant drop off in his. No, his overall potential have dropped, but his ratings have stayed consistent. So, Bregman, yep, that's why we start looking by the numbers. So Bregman. Doesn't help us at second base, though. I want to look at pitching, though. That's a bigger concern of mine. Because if we can get away with Garcia at second base, right? We can get away with Ray Vag at second base. That eye and discipline and avoid K. He should put up a 370, 380 on base percentage at the bottom of our lineup. So I should be okay there. Let's see. I mean, I would attach a prospect to Suzuki to get somebody to retain all of it. Interesting. And by interesting, I mean really, really bad. Okay. But see, we start getting into players who are making a crap ton of money as well, and that doesn't help. I wouldn't mind a Trevor Story. Yes, I would. He's actually really bad. all bad contracts. Shoot. Okay. All right, let's look at pitchers because we do need a starter. I'm not prepared to spend $30 million on Dylan Cease or Aaron Nola. Maybe those numbers. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing in Cease. Wouldn't mind bringing in Nola, but not at those prices. No compensation, so we don't have to give up a draft pick to bring in Nola, but he is 32. What's 5 years? And I don't mind the 5 years either, truth be told. Bieber wants 22. Not a lot of great options outside of that top three. And we could just bring Paddock back. His demands haven't really changed. Years at about 30 million. He wants that 4th year. I'm okay with the 4th year, but I'm going to drop the numbers down. He's back up to 5 years. Okay, so let's go back to 4. So he was at 8, 9, 10, 11. Again, that gets us 4 years at about 40 million. Okay. Okay. 4 years, $40 million, $10 million a year for Paddock. I like the ratings. He's not a fly ball pitcher. He doesn't have splits, period. He should give us, he's got good stamina. He should give us decent production in our rotation. We don't need to look at bullpen arms. And we can see maybe if, someone like, I don't know, is Bieber, does he require? Yeah, he's going to require compensation, so we're not going to sign him. What about Walker Buehler? Compensation. Dylan Cease, compensation. So, I mean, I would love to see Nola's numbers drop into that, $17, $18 million a year. It's probably not going to happen. But, yeah, if we can get Bregman, I think that solves our first base issue. Or our DH issue. Really, we just need a couple of bats, one of whom can play. One of whom can play first base. We bring Schwarber back home. It's 3 straight 40-plus home run seasons, 200 batting average. I mean, do they have him playing in the field? They played 24 games at first base. So the ratings, I thought we might get like a Joey Gallo type situation here with Schwarber. But he's not nearly as good in the field as Joey Gallo is. How is Gallo doing in our world? He's still playing for the Twins. Yeah, I mean, he's still doing Joey Gallo things, but playing very good defense as well. He's got 2 years left on his contract. I want to see something. Yeah, this is a real steal. What if I also gave you Dead in the Water? Yeah, Seiya Suzuki is just awful. We may end up just waiving him, just cutting him, honestly. In fact, let's just really quickly. Retain 100% of Tyone. If there's no interest, we'll just waive. Can we improve ourselves this way? Masataka Yoshida from the Red Sox. He can play DH for us. What's his contract? Oh, he's in arbitration at this point. No, he still has 2 years left at $18 million. Nothing there is of any interest to me. Mateo's not making any money. Can we get Mateo and then... they can't afford it. All right. Yeah, I liked the idea of Gallo once I started looking at Schwarber. Batters. What does Tucker want? 20, and he's compensation pick. I don't want to give up a comp pick this year if I can help it. Maybe Schwarber is that answer. Do we need to get better defensively? Acuna's passable in right, but he's more of a left fielder. Crow Armstrong is elite in center. Velazquez is passable in... Maybe we find an outfielder and make one of these guys our full-time DH. Maybe that's the solution. So what do we have for free agents, fielding ratings, outfield range? Cody Bellinger. We can bring Cody back at 1.9. Yeah, the bat is just gone, unfortunately. Trent Grisham at $6 million. Doesn't have a great bat, but is really good defensively. Grisham's not a terrible option. Brandon Marsh. He can't hit anymore either. Max Kepler wants $10 million. Stomach is growling. Yeah, I don't know. Grisham's not an awful option out in center. The bat's not great, but put him in left. He doesn't have really the arm for right. But that immediately improves our outfield defense. What does he want? He wants 3 years at 6. I don't want to give you 3 years. I'll give you a couple. This to be a team option, and we're going to do $5 million a year. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. I'll give you the 3 years, but I want that third year to be a team option. Worst case scenario, he's a backup outfielder for us. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So Grisham, we'll move Grisham to left, leave Pete Crow Armstrong in center, and then Velazquez or Acuna can DH for us. All right, let's some head a week. See what we got. These guys both need to come off the injured list. Trade proposal from the Marlins. They want to send us Jazz Chisholm for Jaron Purify and Ronnie Lopez. I mean, those are both terrible players, but you would need to... What's his contract look like? Let's discuss this. 1 year on the contract. I want you to retain 50%, though. Two players I don't particularly care about. Dilver Gomez. What about if we go to... Let's just go all the way. What happens if we ask you to retain everything? Okay, so not enough. So let's drop this to 75. No. so we're not there yet. So if we go back to 50, it should just be that. Is it still in here or is it expired? Dilver Gomez. That should, I mean, because I walked away, they're probably going to ask for more here. But yeah, and that's fine. It's going to be a 20 potential over. You want Santiago Payares? Fine. Yeah. So Jaron Purify, 20-year-old. We drafted in the 4th round a year ago. High work ethic, or a couple of years ago, but he's been stuck in rookie ball. And then 3 players that are just not good in exchange for Jazz Chisholm with 50% of his contract retained. Fans like the fact that we pick up Jazz. We'll figure out where we're going to play him here. I mean, he's probably our second baseman, and that allows us to move Garcia around the infield. Not that he's great defensively, but Chisholm, not a great year last year, but 2.1 WAR in 2024, 3.5 WAR in 2023. He's got some speed, has some pop. He's really good against righties, so that is a pretty good deal for us, I think. Let's keep going. We'll do what we normally do, right, which is get through the Rule 5, and then I will sim up to, hell. Of course, we signed him to a long-term contract, and, I mean, it's a knee injury and not an arm injury, so hopefully that doesn't hurt him long-term, but still no answer from any of the people we've talked to. I'm really, really hoping that we can lock down Alex Bregman. Stick him at the top of our lineup. And this is going to be a super long video. We're already over an hour. All right, so we lose Bo Bichette, which we knew was going to happen. A 7-year contract, $123 million from Arizona. You do you. Let's get to the winter meetings. Okay, so everybody likes our... Whoa! Tyler Heineman traded for Tristan Cassius. Oh, and Cassius hasn't developed. So, all right. So we've got Walker Buehler signs with Milwaukee, 5 years, $121 million. Bregman, Paddock, and Grisham all like our contract offers. Where do we stand financially? Nothing changing there yet. Yeah, we only have $5 million left, so I don't think we're signing any of anybody else. We may have to wait until we get to the preseason. Who's on the block? Real Muto, Tommy Edman. If we're looking for some defense at second base, he's pretty good, but he's making $17 million. Yeah, those are some big contracts I have no interest in taking on. Waiting for somebody to sign with us here, especially Bregman. We should get a bump from Bregman. But nothing doing. I want you guys here when it happens. I want you to see the signing. Okay, Rule 5. Do we have anybody that we need to place on our roster? Palencia. Cassie, who we may end up trading when it's all said and done. Take a look at RJ. It's coming along. It's coming along at a 50. Coming along at a 50. Will Taylor, yeah, his contact and gap power sort of leveled out at 50. So he's not going to be great, but he'll be passable. He's pretty good defensively. Chase Shores, he was one of our picks last year. He's gotten better. All right, let's get into Rule 5. I'm picking 20th. And we're going to look at bats and then probably call it. We don't really have a spot on our roster for a pitcher. Not that we really have a spot for a bat either if we sign all the players we're looking at. Ben Ramirez. If he wasn't 27. Abraham Almonte's 36. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's just quickly look at pitchers. I say that, but I want to make sure that there's nothing elite here. Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? S. Merlin Vincenio. I mean, yup. Okay. Let's go ahead and autocomplete the drafts. We pick up another elite bullpen piece. Now let's try one more time. Seiya and Owen Cassie. Somebody's got to be interested in him. Like, if this was real life, I would have to think that there would be some bad team out there that says, you know, we're not going anywhere this year. So, yes, this is a deal that works for us because we got a prospect that may or may not work out or something like that. I think we go ahead and waive Tyone just to get him out of our bullpen. Yeah, this doesn't do anything for us. Christian Walker's not bad, but he's making $11 million plus the $9 million that we were going to offer up from Suzuki, and that's the difference. So there's no reason for us to make that deal. So first and foremost, let's come in here and it's a sunk cost. We'll add $18 million to our player expenses. Yes, I know you're not thrilled about it. Oh wow, that's a bit of a surprise. Coming off of a ALCS showing, fans not looking to come out right now. Hoping bringing in Grisham and Bregman and Paddock does something for our fan interest. Still nothing. You guys are killing me with this. International, let's run practice. Okay, so we're all set up there. Let's keep going a week. All right, so what do we got? So we get a small fan interest bump from Bregman. We sign all three of them, which is great. Didn't get the fan interest bump that I was kind of hoping for there, but we got 40 men on our roster. All right. Assad, Hill can both be DFA'd. It's just a 79. Okay, so now the revenue per game is starting to go up a little bit. Season ticket sales are there. We don't have a ton of money left right now, so we can't really do much with scouting and development. I'm hoping. Let's go and let's look at. Are any of these guys any good? Michael King's not bad. I don't want to pay him $10 million, but he's incredibly popular. I might, though, just to see if we can bring him in at $4 million or whatever. Do we bring Riz back? No. 1 year at $4 million. That's what you're going to get from us. Doesn't want that. All right. Schwarber's at 10. Get up to international amateurs, I guess. Just sim ahead a bit. Maybe Rizzo will come back to us and say, hey, let's talk again. Yeah, this is a super long video. Well, maybe not super long. It'll be about an hour and a half by the time it's done. All right, so Assad and Hill both need to just be placed in AAA. Yeah, I was hoping for a bigger bump there. Yeah, I mean, we will have $20 million next season that comes off of this number because we're obviously not bringing back Suzuki. Gallen's going to be out for 4 months, so we won't get him back until the middle of April. Yeah, I mean, these aren't, I don't think we have any terrible contracts here. Gallen could be bad if the numbers drop due to the injury, but, nothing you can really do about that, right? Like, can't plan for that. He had been healthy his entire career. All right, so we're at internationals. Let's go to all players. And we know the 2 players that we were looking for here were Catano? Yeah, it was Catano and who was it? Castaneda. So 1.7 and 1.6. So if we offer him 3.5, okay, and then we offer Catano, we don't have enough. Shoot. I don't think we get either of them for those prices, but we will see. Yeah, Catano immediately comes back and says, "No, I'm good." What does he want? It's up to $2 million. Let's see if we get Castaneda. And then go from there. Okay, yeah. So we have to decide which one we want more. Do we want the third baseman with the low work ethic who has really good defensive rate? I think we go Catano. Right now it's at 2.6. What if we offer him 4? That leaves us with about $1.5 million, with which we might be able to do something with. Nope. All right. So we'll offer him the full boat then, I guess. We got preseason coming up. I don't think we're going to get a bump. Yeah, I was concerned here that we weren't going to get a bump because the fan interest number didn't go up much during the offseason. 15th highest budget. I mean, as the Cubs, that's got to be better. It's got to be better than that. Where are we going? We are going off-season, and then we're going... No, let's do it here. Catano is the name we're going after. Hopefully he likes us enough to come play for us. We're just simming ahead until we get an answer. Did we get an answer? Did he sign with us? Yeah. Okay, so we signed Ramiro Catano, 16-year-old, with 3 potential elite pitches. Still obviously a ways away, but the high work ethic is nice. So I think that's going to do it here, guys. I may do a little bit of tweaking between now and the start of the season to see if I can improve that fan interest a little bit since we have a tiny bit of money left. May want to just kind of see what I can do there. But that's gonna do it. So next episode will be opening day and then the first couple months of the season. So enjoy your hour and a half of Chicago Cubs baseball. It was a very successful season, number 3. We made the National League Championship Series. I think we got better here in the offseason. Our pitching staff is fine. I'm not worried about our pitching staff. At least our bullpen is fine, especially with the addition of S. Merlin Vincenio. Our offense has gotten better with the addition of Alex Bregman and Chaz Chisholm. Our defense has gotten better with the addition of Trent Grisham. So there might be a couple of other moves here dealing from a position of strength from the bullpen. I'll continue to see what I can do with Suzuki, and that will be that. So guys, we'll see you on opening day. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.